Hi, my name is Spencer Maya, and this is my oral exam. Crime mapping and predictive policing. Crime mapping involves using spatial data and temporal crime data in order to create a visualization of where crimes are happening in an area over a period of time. The purpose of this is to take individual instances of crimes and to make an easy to digest and analyze method of viewing that crime data. Modern maps are mainly made through a program known as ArcGIS. Crime maps can be used in multiple different ways, such as for civilian purposes like knowing what crimes are happening in their area, research purposes in order to figure out what makes some places more likely to have crimes than others, and police purposes to better allocate officers and patrols. Now let's talk about the history of crime mapping. The first recorded crime map was in 1892, made by A. Balby and A. Gary, who used pins on a map in order to show the connection between violent and property crimes with education level. In the early 1900s, Shaw and McKay started producing numerous maps that focus on connections between juvenile delinquency and social conditions. The 70s is where criminologists put significantly more effort into where crimes happen due to the emergence of routine activities theory, otherwise known as RAT. This is a theory that states people are more likely to commit crimes in places where they already have. This can be used to predict where crimes will happen next and is the foundation of crime mapping and predictive policing. The 60s and 70s is where there was a huge boost in crime mapping technology. Harvard Labs developed the first widely used crime mapping program in 1963 called SciMap. The Census Bureau also put a lot of effort into making detailed street maps and data for the whole country. This data is the foundation of modern crime maps. Eventually, ArcGIS, which was developed, and it was now the most widely used and recognized crime mapping program in the world. The main type of crime map that is used today is called heat maps. They take similar individual data events and use them to show in regions where crimes happen. They end up looking like a weather map, which is why they're called heat maps. They're an extreme upgrade over the original maps because they allow you to see clusters better, overlapping events, and since they're digital, you can just make one and just disperse it to whoever needs it, rather than back in the day where they just had one map with pins all over it, and you only can go to where that map is in order to get that data. An example of heat maps and kernel density maps is a study that I found done by Pranav Kedia in 2016. He used spatial and time data in order to see what crimes happening where and when in his city. The results showed a definitive hotspot, which is an area with a lot of crimes condensed in one specific area. He decided to go to that area where the hotspot was in order to figure out what is the potential cause for it. On arrival, he found a busy and crowded market. He deduced that since it is such a bustling area, then it makes sense why there would be such an influx of robberies and thefts. Lots of people clustered together makes it easy to grab things from stalls or other people without being seen. And so many people coming in and out of a crowded parking lot makes it easy for a random one to get stolen. This demonstrates how we can gain criminological data from these maps. This research can then be used to prevent crimes in the future because we now know why it happens in the first place. One of the most significant uses of crime mapping, I believe, is predictive policing. It is, as its name suggests, when the police predict crimes by using crime map data in order to see where the crimes have been committed and deducing where they will continue to happen. Crime maps by nature show trends in crimes because they take data from different or extended periods of time. If crimes continuously and consistently happen in one place for a long period of time, then you can assume that they will keep happening. Police will take the data and use it to determine where and how to focus their patrols. However, it isn't a perfect solution. As with most things in life, there can be human error, such as how you need human crime analysts in order to take the maps and data to determine where the hotspots are. Another issue is that crime mapping in general relies on crime reports. we can't map crimes that we don't know happened. For example, in 2019, less than half of violent and household property crimes were reported. The way we deploy patrols also needs to be very efficient. If you have a citywide hotspot, then you need to know the quality and quantity of patrols to efficiently cover that area. You can't use too many patrols because then that area will be too saturated and the crimes will just move to a different area. Right? But you can't have too little patrols because the police can only be in so many areas. Predictive policing is something that has already found use in our modern society. Patrols can have constantly updating GIS data so that they know where crimes are happening in their area as they're there. They can also track certain individuals by using mobile data in conjunction with GIS data. The LAPD was able to actually get results through predictive policing. They did research and they used it to better allocate the patrols and their methods. What they found is that there was a 5.4 decrease in violent crimes as well as a 22.6 reduction in homicides. On top of this, there was a study in Canada that used crime mapping to support broken windows theory and to predict property crimes. Broken windows theory is an application of routines activity theory, also known as RAT. It states that more crimes will happen in an area that looks like crimes already happened, namely break-ins. So for example, if one house is broken into, then you can assume it would be more likely that more break-ins will happen in that area. The study showed that there was a significant increase of break-ins in the same area after one occurs. The increase showed diminishing returns over time. Specifically, they found a 53% increase within the first day, which then decreased to 24% over the next 7 days. Personally, I think crime mapping and ArcGIS is one of the best methods we have in order to prevent crimes in the future, which is something, of course, we always want in our society. The main goal of criminal justice is to prevent the fear of crime and prevent crimes outright, which is why I think predictive policing, along with ArcGIS, is one of the best methods we have going forward for a better society.